Welcome back, my fellow duplicants, to Oxygen Not Included. Now, if you remember back from my Ultimate Automation Challenge, there was this time where gas reservoirs and liquid reservoirs were a newish thing. So I decided to incorporate that inside my base here and basically take a lot of my satellite geysers and vents and stuff and bring them into this one area right here, where then I can sort it out and use it wherever it needs to go. Depending on where things are at, it kind of makes sense to do that. I'm doing the same sort of thing with power distribution. However, I was thinking, this turns into pipe spaghetti pretty quick, at least for me, because it was kind of the first time I was ever tackling it. So I thought, okay, there's got to be a better way. Now, I've also seen a good amount of examples here on Discord where you guys are sharing your bases where you guys run into the same sort of thing. You have a source of hydrogen or a source of natural gas or oxygen or whatever that you want to run to a tank, and then you want to distribute that throughout the rest of the base. Well, I've had this idea on my brain all weekend, so I wanted to record it. And welcome to the flowchart. So in this flowchart, I'm going to be combining 3 of the latest videos that I've done here: gas filtering guide, the radiant cooling pipe, and the automatic storage and retrieval system right here. And that's going to make Liam super happy because he's now going to have a gas and liquid automatic storage and retrieval system. Yeah! For those of us who can't necessarily plan out pipes well enough in advance, this might be really helpful. So how this works is we basically create a perpetual motion loop. So we have a loop of gas where we can dump anything we want inside of there. At that point, it hits the appropriate filter, goes into the tank, and then we'll bridge back out to head off to the equipment right there. So that way, rather than needing a whole bunch of pipes that lead into this tank, and they're all fighting for space throughout the map, what we do is we just have one singular pipe that runs throughout the map, and as we're pumping gases in and out of this thing, we basically just put it on this loop right there, like it's a big old highway or something, and then it sorts into its storage locker, and then is called up to the equipment as needed. So you know what time it is. It's time for an experiment. Alright, so if you watched my gas filtering guide, then you've probably remembered this piece of equipment here. And what this is doing is basically exactly what we'd want it to do, and that is filtering out all the different types of gases and then redirecting them to a different location. And it's working on a loop right there. So this is really doing the same thing that that's doing right here, but not this part down there. The biggest difference in concepts of what I want to do here is I'm okay with spending a little bit of power, so I don't think I'm going to set up the mechanical filters right there, although you definitely could if that's the way you wanted to go. And the other thing is this loop right here is way too small. I want it to be much bigger. I want it to go around my base. So because it's just so easy to set up, what I'm going to use is a gas shutoff valve next to a gas element sensor right there. And since it's a continuous loop right there, if we do run out of power, it's just going to continue to go around that loop. So it's still going to be really safe. And we're not going to get the wrong type of gas in the pipe unless that pipe backs up, which is an important thing. We want to make sure that that pipe does not back up. All right, so let's deconstruct everything. All my dupes got covered in debris down here. All right, so let's work through this. What do we need to control here? Oxygen, carbon dioxide, natural gas, chlorine, hydrogen, diluted oxygen. Oh my gosh, there's going to be a lot of tanks. And then for liquids, diluted water, oil. That would be crude oil. Dude, then we got petroleum as well. Oh, what else? I'm not going to do the cryogenic stuff. That would just be... As you can see, there's plenty going on. So we're not going to cover liquid oxygen or liquid hydrogen, and we're also not going to cover phosphorus gas, even though we could do that. Do you want to be able to store visco gel? Of course you do. Why not? I mean, that seems like a perfectly logical thing to store. No, we will skip on the visco gel. If you're storing visco gel, then you're a real baller in this game, I tell you what. Super coolant. There we go. There's actually so many liquids in here. It's ridiculous. So there we have it. Just 11 things to worry about. Not much at all. I'm sure this will work out really good. You know, this idea seemed great until I wrote it down. All right, so everything needs a gas reservoir. right? We need one, two, three. All right, so let's not get discouraged here. Let's just move on, try to figure this one out. Okay, there we have it, gas reservoir. All right, so I remember this comment that was left over here on my Discord channel from Cookies and Salad right here. He linked me up to this website over here. So this is a forum post here from a bud. And you can see right here that he's working on multiple filters right there that are set up in such a way that they won't back up. So what I'm trying to gain from this here is some inspiration of how to do an overflow that might be a little bit more simple. Well, I like the bridge thing. Although I'm not seeing it right here. I'm not seeing an overflow detect. Here's what came to mind. It did spur up some old memories. So since we want to make this nice and efficient for space, I wonder if this would do the trick. Because it's in, and then it's also in there. I wonder. And then I just put a gas element sensor right here. All right, so let's see how this works. You can see the oxygen is flowing up. And now it's going to start to fill this tank. Yes. Yes. Now just to simulate something, what if I, real quick here, because it just looks like it's going to work. Take that, hook it up to an automation signal right there. Boom, if this detects that it's oxygen, what? If it detects that that's oxygen, fine, I will use a NOT filter. Aha! You can see here the oxygen is climbing up. It's near the maximum. We'll slow it down. Any moment now, it's going to max out. We're at 145, 146. And then what? Oop, oop, oop. Yep. So it detected, it went a little weird, but you know what? That's okay. Because it detected that there was oxygen there. And then boom, it shut off. I like it. That is simple. And simple is good. Especially with something that's going to be this crazy. So I'm going to try to not give myself a bunch of extra room. I'm going to try to make this smart and compact. Which is code for hard, and why am I doing this to myself? All right, so there's that right there. I kind of don't like how the gas reservoirs are so big, especially when compared to the liquid reservoirs. Gas is compressible, guys. Liquid, not so much. Why are they so different? Okay, so here's the facts. I can put two liquids right next to each other. The thing is, there's still 3 tiles that I need on top, so there should probably just be space between those. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 6 down, and then we're going to have the 3rd row right there, and that's going to be mixed stuff. Oh, this works out so good! Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and check this out. I have completed all of my requirements for this entire thing. Oxygen, polluted oxygen, natural gas, polluted water, carbon dioxide, chlorine, hydrogen, water, petroleum, crude oil, and supercoolant can all be stored in kind of this 3x3 grid. I love it when it fits in a box. It's interesting how thinking creatively ends up thinking within the box, but from a new perspective. I don't know. Things are getting a little deep here, but if we move this right there, oh, you know what that means. You know what that means. You got a space for a ladder. Ha-ha. I mean, I don't really, whatever. I thought you were gonna, you probably thought that was gonna be more dramatic, but okay, so now we just need to do this number. Oh, this is easy. I like this. When is it all going to go wrong? Oh man, and we could do the same thing with the liquid bridges too. All right, so there we have it, all of my tanks. Obviously this could be expanded to, you know, accommodate more and more and more of the type of gas you might want to store, but you know what? I don't know if you really would need necessarily this arrangement here. You could potentially just put these gas reservoirs next to the equipment in it where they operate. But you get the idea of at least what I'm trying to do here, right? As far as bringing it to a spot and then distributing it. So you get the idea of at least what I'm trying to do here, bringing it to one spot and then distributing it where it needs to go, even if I can't speak all that well. Let's see here. If we just kind of circle this thing right there, boom, okay. So now what we need is a way to bring gas in to detect whether or not it's the right type of gas. Maybe this is where ABUD comes into play here. You see how that's looping right there? And what's smart about this, okay, it isn't obvious right off the bat, but you see the loop, how it goes over here and then it goes through a bridge here. So it goes this direction and flows around, and then it goes an in to an in to an out to an in to and an out, and it runs through that arrangement right there. But you know what? I don't think you need that. I think so long as the pipe has a direction, it'll just keep doing its thing. But you won't necessarily be able to add more to it. No, of course you will be able to. I don't know. Here's where things go wrong. All right. So let me just get an idea of what I need to do here. So I need to detect if there's a gas, and then I need to take that gas and put it into a tank. So if I kind of do this number, let's just plan this one out. Okay, so if I do that number, oxygen will go in there, whatever goes in there, something else comes in there as well. This is the one that kind of gets hard right there. How do you get to that one? There you go. And then there's that one, which is also kind of weird as well. Okay, so here's the thing. If I know that there's a gas that I have that I want to store here, then the best place for me to enter the pipe would be anywhere over here. Because that way it doesn't ever have to wait in line for the gas to clear that's already there. So then do we end up with pipe spaghetti anyhow? Because if you're going to do that, why not just deliver it to the tank? All right, so here's where things get weird. Because if we're introducing a gas to this pipe, and it's just a very, very small amount of gas, it will block up the entire pipe because you can't stack the other types of gases on top of it. So what we really want to do here, and this is probably the most important part of this entire thing, is we want to take this gas and we want to stack it on top of itself so that we're only ever moving 1 kilogram through the pipe. So how do we do that? See? That could have gone really wrong, but we caught it. So if I do this number, you see it's now going to stack on top of itself, but then it will back up. And if I just let that gas move past, what you'll see is it should still end up 500 kilograms or whatever. Oh, that's all backed up. Oh, okay, I got it. Bridges. There you go. See, even though that can move like that, yeah, see, it's still moving 500 grams past it. All right, so what if... I think I'm on to something here. So hang on. Here we go. So if I do this number, it's going to want to stack on top of itself until no! Because it's always going to overflow at 500 grams. All right. However, okay, here's what it is. We just can't make it too simple. It takes a little bit of logic for this one to work. So if we do this number here, that's going to continue to stack on top of it. However, if we move past this, everything that's going to be inside of this pipe is going to be at 1 kilogram. It has to be. And then there's a gas valve down here. But what's important is there's a gas shutoff right there. And then what I'm using here is when it detects oxygen, I will enable that. So we're kind of, we've lost simplicity. However, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I hope it works. And this works. Aha, there we go. Full kilograms. Well, that's because everything's full. Empty all of that. See, that's just going around and around and around and around and around, right? Everything's trapped. But now 500 grams show up. So it's 500, 500, full, 500, 500, 500. Okay, so that has to do with the lag of what's going on here with the pipes. Yep, this is getting complicated. All right, so before I try to wrap my brain around what's going on here, let's just mess with it a little bit more, see if I can observe something. So a gas element sensor right there, a little bit of a gas valve right there. It has to do with the lag as far as when it detects and how much there is ahead of it. At least that's what I believe I'm seeing right here. So if I give it a bigger chamber to build up 1 kilogram, you can see now it's detected, and now it's going to start to empty, hopefully. Oh, it's because this is jumping in front of that. So if I do this number, hey, you should be detecting oxygen. And then it clears. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Yes! Yes, I've been wanting to do that for so long. So let me just shorten this up a little bit, show you exactly what's going on here. It's a gas stacking arrangement. And watch, it should work like this. There goes oxygen at 1 kilogram. Awesome. Awesome. So sweet. So sweet. Check this out. Watch what happens here. When I take this and I say, okay, look, we're only going to run 200 grams a second. So gas is slowing way, way down. It's not quite perfect. 400 grams. Why is it not perfect? Oh, there's a whole pattern to this madness. In case it wasn't complicated enough. So you can see where am I always going to have 1 kilogram? And where then can I activate it from? I'm going to slow this way down and see if I can spot it. Because there's a spot where it stacks and then there's a spot where it doesn't. And right now I'm detecting here at the point where it is not at max. So I have to run this slow. We can just, okay. There it is, it's going to detect, and you can see that I've got a full kilogram here. So if I take this gas shutoff valve and I go like that, then it should detect full. So close. Because a little bit comes by when this one finds its way right there. So what I got to do is figure out where that one is when it goes to turn on, and I'm missing it by 1 spot. Things you only solve in video games. This is one of them. All right, here we go. So when you detect, you're going to turn on, and you know what? Okay, you can't tell me that this is the way it's supposed to be. Is it because this is on that side of that, and that is on that side of that thing? I don't... There's a brain twister going on here. Detected. Full 1 kilogram went out. Detected. Full 1 kilogram went out. Yeah, it works. Here's the crazy thing. Does it work if I make it smaller? I don't think it will. I really don't think it will. But you know what? We won't know until we try. I mean, we do kind of know. But the thing is, there's knowing, and then there's knowing for sure. And that's what you want. Because you just never really know if you just don't know that you know. If you know what I mean. See? There it is. It doesn't work. However, wait. No, it wouldn't work because that would be on the other side. Huh. Yeah, all right. I'll stop touching it. But man, that's what I've been looking for a long, long time. If this over here is not practical at all, that is. Right there. That is useful. In kind of a rare situation. Whatever. Okay? Alright, so that's important right there. I'm using a gas element sensor to detect where I'm at right here. And you can see just how many tiles I'm down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The shutoff is right there. And then I just use a valve to jump back over right here. Important to line it up just like that so that it times it out correctly so that 1 kilogram runs into the pipe rather than, you know, a very small amount. So there you have it. Take a picture, draw it out, print it on a shirt, whatever you need to do to remember it. By the way, as requested, I am working on a merch store, and that'll be really useful for at least hopefully providing some more income here on the channel, because while we have made really good headway over the last couple of weeks, there's still a good amount of distance to go. So thank you guys so much for your support. There's tons of ways to support the channel down there in the description below. Humble Bundle keeps coming out with more and more deals, and so far that's probably been the best thing aside from all of the wonderful support you guys have been giving me over there on Patreon. There's also one-time donations that have also been really helpful as well, so thank you to you guys. You know who you are. Alright, so now that we know how to stack gas, that means we can run it into a loop, and even if it does have to wait for a clearing, it shouldn't be much of an issue. Because look at that, we're moving 1 kilogram, so we're moving as much through the pipe as we possibly can. Sweet. Alright, so that was unexpected, and it could have been really bad. We got through it. Aha. Just like so. Boom. Boom. Alright. So what I want to do here is use gas element sensors right before the shutoffs to detect the appropriate type of gas. And then I'm going to bring in more types of gas wherever they need to go. They can actually be right there. We'll just simulate it to where it's kind of crazy, right? I mean, this loop here does not have to be a perfectly square, and it doesn't have to be this close. It could actually be way out all over the base. That's kind of the idea. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and just do that. So we'll simulate that this runs up to another spot, right? And then it comes right back in, like so. Same sort of deal. Just kind of circles your base wherever you need it. People are like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm about to panic. I know, it isn't symmetrical. I apologize for even thinking that way. You'll be okay. Please subscribe. Alright, so just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and just throw in one like this. Right? So we got a couple different types of... We've got more ins than we have outs. Interesting. Interesting. We're going to simulate some crazy things. So this can go in there, go in there, go in there, go in there. And at some point here, we need to have... Alright, so the thing about this is we need to have somewhere in this pipe, we need to give it a direction. So for that, I'm just going to use a gas valve because it's just really easy to do. So now any gas that ends up inside of here, if there's enough of it, it should start to go around in a circle. So if we just speed this thing up, and we get a little bit of gas, there it goes. So you can see that that oxygen is just going to make a big old trip all the way around. What in the... What madness? What? How do you get stuck there? Oh, you just don't know what to do anymore. It's very clear to me what this path is. But apparently, according to Oxygen Not Included, it's not so crystal clear. Back to this. Alright. So I see what you're doing here, bud. Let's see if we can make this a little bit smaller without confusing the gas too much. So what I'm doing is adding, well, what is basically a band-aid to the pipe system. So that flows in there and in here, out of there and in there and in... Oh boy. Remember when I said this is where it all goes wrong? Yep. So I didn't put one back here. I'm kind of curious if that's going to cause problems. Oh, did I forget something? Yes. Okay. Here comes some gas. Oh, you know which way you're going? You know which way you're going? Very good. Good job. I'm proud of you, little gas packet. Whoa! Did you see that? I'm pretty sure I just figured out how to teleport gas from one spot to another. It was like in 2 places at once. I gotta look that up. I'm pretty sure we just simulated quantum mechanics within oxygen not included. Clearly, this makes a lot of sense. Alright, well, let's let it, What? See? See? Did that duplicate itself? I understand why it's doing what it's doing. Huh. Need yet another gas valve. Suppose we need a gas valve not before but after each thing, because otherwise it's going to get confused. That makes sense. Yeah, there we go. Good job, oxygen. Okay, so how to make this loop work in such a way that your gas doesn't get confused of which way is home. And trust me, it's getting more confusing by the minute. I mean, just look at it. Essentially what we're doing here is we're giving everything a direction so that we can never end up with 2 ins as long as those ins don't have an out. So, just try to stick with me here. We're using a bridge to go into this loop. And because there's a green here and a white there, we know which way to go. And this is option 1. If option 1 is not available, option 2 is where we go. And then over here, everything resets. Option 1, option 2. So wherever the bridge is, there's only one option. Every time we get to this spot, there's 2. So therefore, nothing gets confused. And you don't end up with gas flowing the wrong direction, somehow teleporting across the pipes, and wondering if you've solved the great mysteries of the world. Yeah. There we have it. Simple idea, getting more complicated. I wasn't wrong when I said this is where things get challenging. Here's a cool thing though. Check out the wires. The wires can just be like this. Alright, so I've set this one up to detect oxygen. So you can see, therefore, it's now running inside of here and it's just dumping off to the side. But, yeah, that's working. Alright, well, that seemed pretty straightforward. Now let's add liquid to it. Cool thing is you can lay liquid right on top of gas. Boom! Wasn't complicated enough. I mean, come on. The cool thing is I now know how to handle this one, so we will just go ahead and do this number. That's looking pretty good. Sorry. I'm just thinking of how I'm going to set up all of these different gas. Alright, so I'm going to copy my gas box. Okay, so now we're going to place this gas box. What should I do? Just random locations or all in the same location? Clearly all in the same location. Yes, let the madness rule. Just let it free, Brothgar. Break the internet. Yes. Alright, so here's the gas stacker. Set up like that. Yeah, I mean, it seems a little bit alarmed, but... Whoop, okay. Undo. Yeah, there's no undo. However, there is a destroy. What? I mean, the exclamation marks are making me feel good. Invalid port overlap. Yeah. What could possibly be wrong with that? Alright, you know what? I just noticed something. Kind of a facepalm moment. I got water, petroleum, crude oil, and supercoolant, but I don't have polluted water! Alright, so forget supercoolant, because if you're that awesome, you're probably not going to store it. Unless you have another spot for it. So we'll just call this polluted water. That makes more sense, anyhow. Oh, wait a minute. I did have polluted water. It was over here. So, I guess I have less gas to store. You know what? Maybe helium becomes a thing. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, I'm going to have to get serious here for just a moment. First and foremost, I'm sorry, Clay Entertainment, and also to anybody who might be allergic to pipe spaghetti. Because what I've created here is chaos. Yes, that's right. Not only are we going to be stacking gases of 7 different types over here, on top of each other. We're going to throw it into a randomizer, which might hopefully find its way into a loop that goes around and around and then hopefully gets sorted out through automation into the correct reservoir, which is just, I mean, that's just going to be sexy if it works, isn't it? And to top things off, we're also going to run a liquid system on top of the gas system, quite literally, and that will hopefully sort out the exact same way. Let's see if it works. Okay, so here we go. You can see the gas systems over here. They're running, they're stacking on top of each other. They have no idea where to go. And I'm running all of these at different rates based on different pieces of equipment that might exist. Anywhere from 500 grams down to about 20 grams, let's say a carbon dioxide or something like that. Yes, so it's just going all over the place. Let's take a look at the liquid system. Ooh. Well, some of it's backed up, but some of it's finding its way into the right spot. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Let's take a look at the gas, though. Okay, so the gas is coming in. If we just follow oxygen, what is going on? Well, we've queued up a massive line of mixed gas, but nothing is detecting what kind of gas is that. Dude, if that isn't a picture, I don't know what is. Look at how random this gas is. Look at it. It's just, like I said, I'm sorry. Oh, that's because I didn't plug it in. Heck. My bad. My bad. Let's just pretend like I did that on purpose. Okay? To show that, you know, if it isn't plugged in, it doesn't have any issues. The pipes just kind of back up and wait to be figured out. Yep. Not a problem at all. But now watch this. Yes! Look at it go! Look at it go! Awesome! And you see how that didn't stop at all? Oh, yes. What is this one trying to detect? Carbon dioxide. Oh, that's why. Because carbon dioxide is really, really small. If you really want to plan out everything without actually planning out anything, this might be the system for you. Oh, interesting. See, here comes some carbon. Oh, no, wait. It just doesn't. Nope, nope, nope. I feel like I'm watching machine learning in process here. Like, look at this gas. It's just going around and it's going all the way back up here. How is that not jammed up? Huh. Huh. That is just cool to watch, isn't it? Do, 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 do. And then some of it comes out. It's like a marble machine, isn't it? Okay. So here's one thing that's just kind of, might not be so good. I do have an overflow here, which is set up to detect oxygen. And we are going to trip that oxygen as of now. Now, if oxygen was just kind of flowing into here, what I could do is just turn off a valve back here that says don't let more oxygen in. I doubt you're going to set up your pipes like this. I kind of doubt it. But as I've shown, you could potentially could. Potentially you could. You could also just put a ton of gas tanks down here that really just stores all the types of gas. But then again, if you could do that, then I suppose you could just do that on this side of the thing and then don't, no. That'd be too easy. Let's take a look at the liquid. Why don't you have a direction? What if I just give you a bridge over here? Will that help you? If I empty one of those? Oh, okay, I see it. One piece of pipe was missing, that's all. Aha! So then this should still work. Yeah, it does work. The thing is, I don't think I'm detecting the right stuff. What are you doing? Polluted water? That might be why. So there we go. Now the liquid system's doing exactly what it's supposed to. I don't think any of these are metered, though. It's really just running 100%. So what if, just out of curiosity once again, we kind of not make this complete madness over here. Not complete madness. We actually run it like we possibly would actually run it, which would be something like that, where there's several different liquids flowing in, but they only have one way in. See, now the thing is, crude oil can just zip right in because it goes straight to where it's being detected here. However, petroleum has to make its way all the way around. So in this case, petroleum will completely back up the system. See how that became completely blocked up? Too much is flowing in. But if I were to tee it up, then everybody will take turns going into that liquid there. But you can see water up here is definitely taking the priority, whereas those are going one and then the other. So I guess a liquid system could be handled like this, where you just have one and then the other, and then it kind of figures it out. Same with this one there. Of course, if none of these are metered, right? If we start to meter these, then it changes everything. So that's 7,000, and this is only 9,000. Say that's 700, and then down here you have 500. That really does change everything. Now that's kind of cool. I mean, as far as how that was processing at 100%, because you see how this loop here goes all the way back and over and around? The thing is, you could extend that loop to wherever you want to potentially have a pickup and then just throw it in there. But this here could just come back up and, run back over there. Just like we're doing down here. I mean, that is basically that. How's the gas system doing? I think it's a little constipated. So the idea here is that you'd send back the signal to say, okay, stop introducing more to this loop. That would be essentially what you do. And at the same time, you'd also be running out of here to where we need it to run. And the other idea is that you could have many, many, many of these be the same type of gas, but it's only filled in one spot. Okay, so the thing with that's actually kind of cool, is that you only will fill your oxygen tanks or your hydrogen tanks at 1 kilogram per second at its maximum rate. However, you may kick on a lot of hydrogen generators that draw out of those pipes at a total rate that is greater than 1 kilogram. So this lets you kind of take a lot of different streams and just fill it up to build up a big buffer and then process that all much quicker than you would otherwise be able to do. Is it really practical? Would I use it in a real game? I don't know. So there we go. We're now using up some of the gas, so it's finding its way out. Oh. By the way, one of these isn't plugged in. My bad. Natural gas had nowhere to go this entire time. This is cool. Oh, this is fun to watch. All right, so let's play a game of follow the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is right back here. You can see him. He's just kind of waiting for some opportunities. And there's another one. All right, this is like the DMV, man. It's just kind of a slow line. There you go. Up, up. Hey, there goes somebody else. Looks just like you. Why didn't they call you up? Still waiting, still waiting. This poor carbon dioxide is at the end of the line. Or in this case, the end of the pipe. But that's all right. We got a couple extra spots here. There we go. All right, so there we go. You can see the carbon dioxide is now running through all the filters right there. Have not found the right spot, but here we go. Boom! Carbon dioxide. And into the tank and out into the environment. That was a thrilling ride right there. It's kind of like a roller coaster, really. Like waiting for this is the line for the front. This is everybody else. All right, so there you have it. An automatic storage and retrieval system for both gas and liquid. Pretty crazy. I'm not 100% sure that it would be something that I would build in my base. However, I do like the idea of running through a filter similar to this and then sorting out wherever it needs to go. Having some sort of loop set up. But I'm not 100% convinced that I would have one spot for all of the different gases to store. I think it makes a lot more sense to have these reservoirs closer to the equipment that's going to be running that type of material. So while I like the loop, I'm not so convinced about having a bunch of tanks all in one spot. Now that being said, it's a lot of fun to watch. All right, so let's just take a moment here just to go back on over the lessons learned. So how this is set up is that as a gas element sensor right there, then you have a gas shutoff valve, and then I used a gas valve after that in order to give it a direction. You can do the same thing in many different ways, as you saw there on the forums and whatnot with bridges. However you want to set that up, you can definitely set that up. But the main idea here is just giving everything a direction. So it's green, and then it's that way and that way, and the two whites, so that it doesn't get confused. You can see what I'm doing there. That was important. I would say the other lesson learned here was the packet stacking arrangement here. This is pretty cool. I really, really do like this a lot. I think the other big takeaway here is the packet stacking automation thing that I have set up here. So again, this is how this is arranged. We have a gas shutoff valve on the opposite side of where the gas element sensor is. This thing is 5 long. So you do a bridge over, then a bridge back, and then I use a valve, just has a very short bridge. It really doesn't do anything different. But and how this works is the gas comes in, it moves back on over, and then once it detects that, then it's going to leave, it's going to eject out full 1 kilogram packets. And it's important to have it this big because of timing. So this might be the most useful thing that I take away from this video here, but that just goes to show the whole reason why I even go through all of these experiments is because you don't necessarily know what you're going to find just from the initial idea, right? I was thinking this would be fairly simple. I didn't even think that I would have a packet stacking problem, but once I thought about it, I found a whole new little solution right there, and you just don't know what you're going to find until you start getting into some of these problems, and then you learn a whole new solution to a problem you didn't know you were going to have, and that's yet another tool in the toolbox right there. So pretty cool. So I think that's pretty cool, and it's cool to see how that just played out perfectly in this situation. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little episode here of Oxygen Not Included. If this looks like it's the channel for you, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. I do this stuff all the time. And once again, thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. You guys are absolutely awesome, helping me do this and do this full time. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a great day. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar